In today's video, I'm going to try to get this crusty 1967 F250 crew cab running again back on the road after many years of salt up in Pennsylvania and then sitting in Gulf Breeze, Florida, where I found it. Then it sat in my backyard in Alabama, my other backyard in Florida, and now my backyard in North Carolina. She's got her fair share of rust, and it's inside and out. So the tank's full of rust. Oh yeah. See that? That is some nasty crap. Get out of there. Can't get this thing to stay running. Let's see, I've spent some more money today. See if I can get this thing back on the road. Now before I tell you what I bought and how I plan to fix this thing, get it back on the road, I want to show you my plans for getting rid of all of this rust. This thing has rust in every panel. It is really bad. The hood's separated. I got one good fender right here. This thing is rock solid, but I plan to use this 1981 Ford Econoline van, which has a massive roof on it with no rust in it. I actually bought this thing from 3 hours away. Wasn't running. I got it rigged up with a boat gas tank and drove it 3 hours home. 2 hours of which I had to hand prime the boat bulb to keep the thing primed. It was not staying running without that. I don't know if it's my fuel pump or what, but I'm hoping it was just a cheap Walmart boat tank that did not flow properly. So with that, I also have some plans to use a few parts off of this 1971 F350 crew cab long bed, such as the back doors and a couple other pieces because this one's in really solid shape. I've also got this single cab to do some rust repair, as well as this pile of parts here, which was a pretty clean F100 that did not have rust on it. Just added another one to the collection of parts trucks just to complete my one truck that I want to build here. Picked up this green goblin looking sucker. She's real clean though. Very little rust on this guy. I cut it right down the middle to use the front and back half of the cab for this swap. I've also got a pretty decent bed, which you can see is up on the lift, and that brings us to, last but not least, this 2016 6.7 Power Stroke. This was a 100,000 mile Lariat truck that I bought in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the Copart, and this truck has been sitting around a long time as well. It's diesel, so it's not good for it. I got a few things I need to work on with that also, but should be a pretty good candidate. I've driven this thing around as is. It's been a really fun truck so far, but it is time to get this thing put together. This old ketchup and mustard stain truck, the yellow and red F350, is also going to get fixed up, even though I'm robbing some parts from it. The goal is to have two crew cabs when I'm done. One, a short bed diesel from the 6.7 chassis, and then this one will be on its original chassis with a lot of new body parts from a patina truck that I've got in the shop as well. More an old school build here. It's going to be full-wheel drive with the old V8 and manual transmission, so they'll both be able to probably pull each other, but this one will be a lot more vintage and old school feel, not very fast, but we'll be able to go through the woods and you can throw stuff in the bed, not worry about scratching it. This is the patina truck I was referring to, 1967 F250. So it's a two-door, regular cab, long bed. It's got a really nice patina on it. I'm not a big patina guy, but I really like this Wimbledon white with a little bit of the primer showing through and some rust color to it. Not much rust on this truck. It was in California up until 2012, where it made its way to North Carolina and potentially blew up the engine on the way here. So we're going to try to revive it. But either way, I have that engine out of the black 67 truck. So between this truck, the black truck, and the yellow truck, we should be able to make one vintage that looks just like this, as well as the diesel truck that I'm cutting up all these other cabs for. That brings us back to the black truck. We're going to see if we can get that old engine running, make sure it's a good swap into the white / yellow / red long bed crew cab and get this show on the road. This is what I thought was going to fix the black truck's rusty fuel tank, because this white one out of this 67 here was in California up until 2012. So I thought it'd be in a lot better shape, but it seems like it has leaked out of the bottom, and we've got some daylight coming through. If you look in the inside, it is rusted out as well. So in this box here, I have a solution to that. This is a brand new fuel tank. Looks like it's primered and ready for coat of paint to match your truck. I'll probably paint it in white eventually and keep it in the classic truck here. So this one looks a lot less rusty. We'll see how it does. We're gonna try to slap this thing in the black truck, try it out there first, and then ultimately put it in the white truck on the yellow truck's frame and all that stuff with the leftover parts from the other trucks I've got. So with that, let's see what else we got. I ordered a couple other things I needed for this swap and see how that looks in the packaging. I bought the new tank and the parts for it from Auto Crafters. As you can see, the tank is from Auto Metal Direct. It was made in Taiwan. Brand new part though, we'll see how that goes. But Auto Crafters got this stuff to me really quick. I found out about them when I recently saw there's a Bumpside Crew cab coming up for sale on Mecum. I know the reserve for that truck is $275,000, and they bought a lot of parts from Auto Crafters, so the guy seemed to think highly of the parts going on it, so I figured I'd give them a shot. And so far I'm excited about Auto Crafters. They're also not far from me in Virginia, so I might go check them out if I keep using them. But let me get this box open and see what the rest of the stuff is. If y'all haven't noticed, the Bumpside Crew cab market has gotten extremely crazy. The classic crew cabs are super popular. Thankfully, I bought mine all before the craze really started, but I'm really excited to see some of these sell for $100,000, $80,000, things like that, that are really well done. I'm hoping to have both of mine done really nicely to where I can be proud of them and show off and represent Grappaholics. All right, first thing I've got is a piece of rubber hose. This will replace where the tank goes out to the side where the gas cap is. I noticed I needed one of these when I pulled the tank out of the white truck, as well as the black one. Then I've got a new fuel cap. Hopefully that one fits. This looked like the right one based off of the part numbers I saw online there. So this is from Dennis Carpenter, who makes that. So that's pretty cool. That should look good. This one is non-locking, so don't steal my gas. But the other ones I've had on both these 67s have locking gas caps, and I can't get the key to work or find the key. And I had to pry them off and everything. So I got just a regular old school non-locking. Also the rubber grommet where the actual metal pipe comes out that the gas cap screws into to seal to the cab. So all nice and new there. And then this guy here, also from Dennis Carpenter. So that's kind of neat. It seems like Auto Crafters is just like a one-stop shop for other companies' stuff. I'm not sure how much of the stuff they actually make, but you can get it all on one website. It's very easy and user-friendly. Put in year, make, and model like all the modern sites. This here is the fuel sender. So let me get this out without breaking it. Seems kind of stuck. Sweet. So this will basically tell you how much gas you got, and that's how you get a reading on your fuel gauge. So I'm hoping that the old fuel gauge will work. And you pretty much have to have one anyway. I didn't want to reuse the old one. There's a hole for this in the top of all the tanks, the old ones and the new ones. So went ahead and got a brand new one. Hopefully that's all I need. I think I got everything for the tank. So let's go ahead and get this stuff together, see if we can get this tank in, check it for leaks, and get the truck down the road. Well, I stayed up till about 11:30 last night outside at about 28 degrees installing this fuel tank. Among a few other things I did off camera. So I ended up reattaching the belt or reinstalling the belt for the alternator. So before, the fan and alternator belt situation here was making the fan contact the shroud. Made a terrible noise. So I had just disconnected that belt. So I had no alternator and the battery would die if I drove it around like that. I don't know if this alternator works, but I reattached it. And me and TJ adjusted the shroud here up a little bit. The motor mounts are shot, that's why it's attached, or why it's touching there, but should have that figured out. Also, the power steering pump leaks really badly. Like the actual gearbox for power steering is leaking, and it has no power steering fluid in it. So instead of it just squealing and making a lot of noise, I cut the belt off. So I have no power steering anymore. As you can see, there's only the one belt. It went right there before. Now I just have the alternator. So all this thing has for accessories is a fan and an alternator. So we'll see how that goes. That's a new thing. Hopefully that's an improvement. Power steering is going to be really tough to overcome with it, you know, disabled like that. So it's going to be hard to turn this thing manual, plus the resistance of the old power steering there. I've stolen the battery out of the Bronco. It's also worth mentioning I have insurance and a plate for this thing now. So I got my plate zip tied to the back bumper. Let's see what else we've got. I've got some empty gas jugs in the back because I'm hoping to run a few errands today. So we got gas jugs, and if y'all can see, my hair is starting to poke out a little bit on my ears, and me being in the Coast Guard active duty, I need to keep my hair in regs, so I'm gonna go get a haircut. So we got 2 errands to do today. Try to go get a haircut and get some gas for my gas jugs and top this thing off. It's got about 5 gallons of gas in it right now. That's all I had left, so we'll see. This will be the first time trying to actually drive it and expecting it to work. Before, when I drove it, when I first bought it, ran like crap, and I'm hoping that it was because of bad gas in the tank. See that? So now I've eliminated that, and we're gonna go, you know, kind of kick the tires and light the fires, see what this thing will do now. So let's check it out.
Ain't got no gas in it.
New plan. Since the thing is acting about the same as it did before, it's showing about a 1/4 tank or less on the fuel gauge, and it is moving when I turn the key on. That's a new tank and sending unit and everything, so that part should work as long as the wiring's good. So I don't think it has enough gas in it.
It ain't got no gas in it.
I have no more gas left in my jugs. That was part of this. I was going to drive to get more gas. So now I'm going to take the Bronco, recharge the battery a little bit that I stole out of it, and get my gas jugs filled up, then fill it back up, and then try to go get my haircut with the old truck. So right now, it just doesn't seem like it's priming. It's getting like a little bit of gas to the carb, but then it just burns it all up real quick. And I think if it had some more gas in it, would help it out. Worth a shot. I can always drain it out later. So that's all I could think of now, because I've, you know, fixed all the issues that should have been rusty. It's got a brand new fuel hose from the new tank right to the fuel pump. So unless the fuel pump's bad, which I really didn't think it was, because it seemed like it was sucking the filter dry. You've been out here working, your hair's all messed up. Here, open it up. Let's start it up, and we're gonna show them the fuel filter. See that filter? See how it's filling back up? So we're getting a really slow flow. So I don't know. I'm gonna go get more gas and go from there. 5 gallons of gas later. Action. let it sit there for a second. All right, I think I got a little carried away with it. So let it sit. Thankfully, I'm in like the turn lane, so that's good. Alright, get my choke set right. So, mess with the choke, and I messed up my idle. All right. At least I drove it back this time. It's clearly not right. Needs a carb, needs something. But it's not running good, not running any better than it ever has. So that's really disappointing, but made it back safe, stayed to the back roads and neighborhoods, and probably embarrassed a few people in the trailer park, but hey, what can you do, you know? She's the queen of my double wide trailer, so made it back. I guess I still got to get a haircut, so got to take something that runs. Say monster trucks. Monster trucks. Monster trucks. Monster trucks.
Say cheese.
Cheese. So as y'all can see, I managed to get my hair cut. Kids are up from their nap. I may have woke them up a little bit early with this whole thing. The fan started hitting that fan shroud again after I hit a big bump, so it sounded like a grinder the whole time, but I didn't want to take it out on the main road because of how bad it was running at higher RPM. Your hands are cold? It's cold out here.
I need mittens.
You need some mittens? Well, let's go get some mittens. We're gonna go get some mittens now. You have pockets. There you go. Problem solved. Good problem solver. Now that we figured that out, now what do I need to do with this thing? It idles pretty good. I don't know if it really just needs a tune-up. These spark plugs have been... The Bronco? Okay, I'll point at the Bronco. So the Bronco runs pretty good, don't you think? Yeah. So I should just drive the Bronco. There you go. That's what I'll do. If only it was that easy. I want this thing to run. So I need to figure out, does it need a tune-up? Does it need spark plugs as part of that? Does it need a carburetor? Does the carburetor need to be cleaned out? Why is this thing not running at higher RPMs? It either sputters and dies. I can't get the choke right where it's happy. It won't stay idling once it's warmed up. So y'all let me know what you would do next in this situation. This truck's getting a new engine, but I would like to use this engine that is seemingly decent in my other old truck. So we'll see what happens. Thank y'all for checking it out. Be sure to give us some love on Instagram. We've got a Facebook group that's growing and doing really solid if you guys want to post your trucks and talk about tire sizes there. And we've also got Grappaholics.com if you want decals, air fresheners, hats, hoodies, all that good stuff. So thanks again.